Like, even with the control verse, he was willing to go against everybody. And y'all see how much Drake complained about going 20v1? When Kendrick literally said, nah, I want everybody. Kendrick volunteered for that smoke. Drake played victim. Come on, man.
Now, with the new song Kendrick Lamar just released into the rap world, he has once again put the genre into a state of shock like few
Appreciate
other
you, Danny
people in
Bone.
the space ever have even had the power to, because with this new track, beyond the presence of Kendrick returning in this moment in time after the biggest musical conflict arguably ever, Kendrick has not let this success or victory make him the slightest bit complacent, and with this new song, it really seems like it's only energized him even more, because with these 3 verses Kendrick delivers in this cut, when we understand everything they are saying and alluding to, the song cements itself as one of the most important tracks lyrically that rap has seen in years, and in all honesty, that title may change to all time in the coming months because with what Kendrick Lamar is saying here and mapping out, just like we saw on his track 616 in LA, which served as a prelude to how Kendrick was gonna take Drake's name, career, and reputation and just shatter it. With this track that Kendrick did not give a name, it's functioning in the same way as 616 did at the most important time in the Drake beef, but now, Kendrick is no longer focused on just taking down Drake and humiliating him. But his sights are now onto something much more important that has even bigger consequences than any duel between just 2 artists ever could, because with what Kendrick is saying on this song, he's welcoming us into a new chapter and what feels like the part 2 of his master plan that he has been executing since March of this year. And now as Kendrick hints to the future of his career and what's to come next on this cut, he ends up revealing that he has an album on the way that will be dropping sometime soon. As through the greater story being told on this song, he reveals what the concept and theme throughout this entire chapter of his career will be, which of course, will end up being what his upcoming album is going to be about, because as Kendrick declares that it's time for the party to die on this song, he tells us what this new album is directly being built on, as he is declaring battle on the entire landscape of hip-hop right now, and really beyond just this, all of the music industry as a whole. And this isn't just supposed to be symbolic or in a way for him to try and flex to make the song sound better, but Kendrick is 100% serious about taking a torch to the institution that is the...
And Kendrick has been on this assignment though. Like, even with the control verse, he was willing to go against everybody. And y'all see how much Drake complained about going 20v1? When Kendrick literally said, nah, I want everybody. Kendrick volunteered for that smoke. Drake played victim. Come on, man. Hell, even back, if you're a true Kendrick fan, you know that Kendrick got jumped in front of his mama. Kendrick been on that. Come on, man.
The music industry and hip-hop today and tearing it all down. And now if you needed any more confirmation that this is what Kendrick's next album is going to be about, we ended up finding out something really important recently that ties together how this album may sound and who may be a major collaborator on it, as on social media, none other than Nas posted about Kendrick Lamar playing at the Super Bowl and alluded to the fact that he can't wait to watch the party die in the near future. And now, out of all people, Nas saying this is super significant, and based on the way Kendrick has created so many of his albums to be narrated by some sort of figure to steer the theme, whether it was Kodak on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, his family members on Good Kid Mad City, or Tupac on To Pimp a Butterfly, it seems like Nas may be the voice of reason for this next album, because as Nas...
Yeah, speaking of that Tupac situation, and how Drake fans keep bringing up, well, why could Drake not do it and use Tupac voice, but Kendrick could? And that just shows the biggest difference in mentality without understanding that Kendrick had consent. Drake does not. That just shows his pattern of not understanding consent. He didn't understand consent in the Tupac situation. Didn't understand consent in the Mr. Hotspot situation. Didn't understand consent in the Halle Berry situation, where he took her photo and used it as a cover art even when she said no. It's multiple instances. So this is who he is, man. So imagine what he does behind closed doors. Come on, bro.
Nas almost hints to what Kendrick is doing, but in a way like he knows more than he's actually letting on to. Things seem like they could be lining up for him to be a part of what Kendrick is trying to do in some capacity, because if we do go back in time to the year 2006, it is important to note that despite Nas being seen as a figurehead of rap music and maybe the most pivotal and integral rapper of all time, which in of itself for the concept Kendrick is going for would be super symbolic, Nas also did make a similar statement of what Kendrick is trying to do now with his project Hip Hop Is Dead, So now with this parallel only adding more momentum to this new Kendrick Lamar record and era, all roads are leading to the fact that Kendrick is going to be ripping off the band-aid on rap music and addressing all of the blemishes in the genre that some have been pretending don't exist. And now with such a tall order, Kendrick definitely knows that it's going to take a full body of his most passionate and shocking material ever to make the statement
And this isn't just talking about Drake. Like he said, it's the industry. Look at Sexy Red. Look at the lip gloss he just dropped. Come on, man, that nasty. And just look at just who Kendrick is aligned with. Doechii, Rhapsody. Drake has Sexy Red and Ice Spice. Come on, man. Just imagine you going 3-on-3. Playing pickup at LA Fitness. Who are you picking, man? Come on, that's like Steph Curry, LeBron, and KD versus the fucking some team in China or some shit. Come on, bro. What we doing? It's easy work.
he wants to, because already, with how Black Air Forces is written and how the story is told, Kendrick lines it out with some of the most shocking and ruthless things he's ever said, that he is sick of the way hip-hop culture and rap music have been diluted into this thing that doesn't represent what he once loved at all. And on top of this, how he despises the culture that seemed to be perpetrated throughout the entire music industry of inauthenticity, label corruption, and behind-the-scenes manipulation. And now, as Kendrick has dropped this song right when one of the biggest industry events of the year in the VMAs was going down, and so many of the biggest names in music were in attendance. If Kendrick dropping the Not Like Us music video while Drake and so many of the biggest names in all of pop culture rap Michael Rubin's White Party wasn't enough, it's clearer than ever that Kendrick is making these moves as a calculated attack against.
And then y'all understand that Kendrick got more viewers than the entire VMAs by himself. And I keep saying Kendrick, he's just the medium. He's just dancing to the beat. He's just communicating the conversations that we as a culture are having. And he knows that. Drake doesn't know that. Drake wants people to worship him. Akademiks want people to worship him. They want the attention that they never received as children. They need that validation. And it's yin versus yang, man. Yin versus yang. Like, these energies, these frequencies will never get along, ever.
Against the machine that has tried to sanitize and feed us the worst type of stuff possible. And now looking at what Kendrick did in the first half of this year against Drake. With everything Kendrick is doing now, we fully see that while Kendrick hates Drake and definitely wanted to destroy him in a rap beef to end any sort of debate of them ever being compared to each other, it's clear that after a decade of subliminals and jabs, Kendrick used this moment in time to set things off like we have never seen, because this was all part of his plan for this album and era, and is key to the rollout because at the very top of the music industry, and specifically hip-hop and what's wrong with it today, Drake has represented the worst parts of this art form and has been the main guy responsible for this shift in the culture that has caused rap to look like something it was never intended to be.
Exactly. And speaking on that, it's not even, I don't want to say it's not Drake's fault, because it is his fault, but he's just a puppet. And that's the entire concept of the song itself. This is an industry. This is an entire system that is being funded and helped behind the scenes. Y'all got to understand the Pareto principle, 80-20. When Young Thug was arrested, Fonnie Willis said that 20% of the population was committing 80% of the crimes. So as much as I love Young Thug's music, y'all got to understand, these people are truly demonic. For sure, I don't even mean that to be on some just fake spiritual shit. They don't like their thoughts. They don't like their physical. They hate everything they attract. Y'all got to understand, the number one fear on this planet is public speaking. Most people can't even listen to the sound of our voice without cringing. Most people don't like the way we look. That's the reason why we have the face filters and there's so much plastic surgery and body dysmorphia. That's the reason why we can't pray, we can't meditate, we can't spend 5 seconds with our thoughts. That's Blaise Pascal. He has a famous quote that says, "The mass majority of our issues come from our inability to sit alone with our own thoughts." And like I said, if you know anything about the subconscious can barely tell, it cannot distinguish between reality and fantasy. The same way you can go on Twitter. If you're a man or a woman, you can look at certain videos and get aroused without even touching yourself. You can dream like you're falling down, and you actually feel like you're falling down. If y'all ever heard about PTSD. So y'all got to understand, if y'all think about someone who's homeless, y'all understand, y'all know in every city, there's at least one homeless person that y'all know that's extremely famous in the city. And in my city, in Birmingham, it's this person, like part of Birmingham called the South Side. And there's this one guy, he constantly walks back and forth talking to himself. And in my opinion, I'm pretty sure he most likely has some type of schizophrenia. So when you understand how the mind works, you understand, like, he truly believes these thoughts are real, man. And you gotta pray for it, man. If you have no idea how they're, like, you gotta have so much grace once you start to understand these things. And I truly don't believe that Drake has any type of understanding. If he truly did understand that, he would not be putting out that music. And y'all remember that line in the Game verse he had where he said, "Well, if I would have stayed conscious, I would have stole all your fans." If he truly believed that, then he would not be making this music, man. Especially not at 37 years old. I'm 26 years old, and there's an obvious difference in the way that we speak. There's no such thing as an old soul. I truly believe I had to become who I am because I don't respect men like Drake. I don't respect these people who claim to be our leaders. So I read books. I hang around people who are older than me. This is my mannerisms. This is who I genuinely am. These people, like, I don't have an old soul. These people are extremely immature. Drake is 37 years old with the thought process of a teenager. So he has the mannerisms and the body language of a teenager. Everything about him is still stuck in a childlike state. So don't try to compare these men to actual men. They're just wearing the uniform. That's it. A beard. That's it. Just look at them. Watch. Don't take it personal. Be mindful.
And now, while Kendrick is past dissing Drake in the same way that he did on tracks such as Not Like Us and Meet the Grams, just as he alludes to ending Drake and changing the tides in hip-hop because of it on this song, Kendrick is definitely not done with Drake, because now he is going to use this battle against Drake and the trophy he holds for beating him over and over again in this era of his career, not to use Drake for attention like his fans want you to believe, or to try and start a round 2 after already beating him like DJ Akademiks is trying to convince people of. But now it's to show this victory and stand on it as a statement to the rest of the music industry to tread lightly, because as Kendrick comes outside more and releases more music, he clearly wants everyone to know that this party that has turned hip-hop over the past few years, especially into this strange place where gimmicks are being prioritized over everything, rappers who don't respect the culture and who can't actually rap are getting the most label funding, and now because of this, sales are down across the board and people are losing interest in the greater rap landscape. This is all coming to an end, and because Kendrick has defeated Drake and made him unable to even find chart success anymore, I'm sure.
And that's what's killing Drake. And that's what's killing Drake. Has nothing anymore. Kendrick has completely unmasked Drake. So now he doesn't even have his stats. He can't say, well, I have the most streams. Well, he does have the most streams still on Spotify, but he can't say that I'm beating you on charts. Like, that's from his old discography. And I see y'all in the chat. Hey, Channing, yeah, you right. I think Nas and Kendrick coming for Jay spot, yeah. Because I think Jay, he coming up next, man. He got a lot of accusations. Yeah, him and Diddy. They two peas in the pod, man. And then you're right, Alicia. Like, if you understand anything about the actual the literacy crisis that we having right now, like, there's this thing in hip hop where everyone is trying to go in the booth and freestyle, and there's this narrative that, oh man, it's so cool, like it's a skill set that you can freestyle in the booth. In reality, they're not freestyling because they're trying to look cool or trying to have swag or sauce or trying to be like Lil Wayne or Jay. They just genuinely can't read. A lot of these kids can't read. They don't understand figurative language. They don't know assonance. They don't know metaphor, simile, personification. They don't know they don't understand what's going on. You can only vibrate what you are. So if you're only looking at TikToks and YouTube videos, they're not even looking at the subtitles. Not even having closed captions. Oh man, it's gonna get bad, dog. And like I keep saying, art is not meant to manipulate you. It's only meant to be a mirror for society. So once again, just look at it. Don't take it personal. This is no different than watching film. This is a film session. Let's look at it and let's go do something about it.
Or with a lot more depth and exploration, and maybe even based on tracks like this most recent one in Meet the Grams, Kendrick may have a lot more shocking things to reveal to us about the inner workings of this industry and some of the biggest players trying to dictate it. But overall, while we don't know what Kendrick is going to do when it comes to actually achieving this goal of destroying rap in an attempt to save it, what I do think is certain is that based on everything we have seen from him this year, Kendrick is not just going to come with the quality needed to make an album that is going to explore something that is so significant to music, but that he will also bring the shock value needed to get the message to ring throughout all corners of the pop culture world today. Because at the end of it all, while Kendrick Lamar is now choosing the toughest battle he has ever had in his entire career, as he is literally trying to take down the entire music industry and rap landscape as we know it.
Yep. And speaking on that, Channa, you're right. It's like, so I just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, but the Young Money situation. I remember seeing Joe Budden was saying something on his podcast, like Kendrick did have plans to bring out Lil Wayne. I think that's I saw a tweet, I saw something about it on Twitter. But after the apology video and after the entire outrage, like that plan was scrapped. Like TDE and all, like not TDE, but Kendrick ain't on TDE no more. But Kendrick and his team, that was like, nah, we ain't doing that no more. Fuck it. Wayne, you ain't getting shit no more. Since you throwing temper tantrums and nah, we ain't doing that no more. And then like with the Nicki Minaj situation, like how she crashed out on Jay-Z, hell, let them go at it. Two predators going back and forth, man. Let them do their things, man. Let them do their things like Godzilla and King Kong, man. Let these two monsters go at it. For sure. Bitch, I'm a monster. Yeah. And they both was on the same song, dog. Hell yeah. Let them do their things, dog.
As insane and impossible of a task as that may seem like, within this moment in time, the skill he brings, the information he clearly holds, and most importantly, with the power and will of the people behind his back, I would not count him out in this situation, and if anybody has learned anything throughout this year, I don't think anybody else will. So all in all, while everything will be in the air as we wait to see how Kendrick Lamar follows this moment up, I think we can all agree that his upcoming album is one of the most anticipated rap projects we have had this entire century, and with the ground that he's trying to walk on, if he can even accomplish a fraction of this goal, it may just end up being one of the most important rap albums of all time. So now with all that said, let me know.
Shout out to Fantastic Hip Hop. And you're right, Alicia, like, Wayne didn't even congratulate Kendrick at all.